Three examples of Enochian magic visions. Example 1. First session Ladrom, Mars Senior of the Elemental Tablet of Earth. Scryer, David P. Wilson. For our first evocation session I decided we would work as Dee and Kelly did. One person would act as seer, and one as operator. The seer would recite the appropriate call, receive the vision, and communicate it during or after the session. The operator would banish, open and close the temple, and question the seer. I would be the operator, but I did not know who in our little class would be the first to sit in the visionary driver's seat. On class night there was only one rather reluctant volunteer. David P. Wilson was not new to the world of magic. In the years leading up to his affiliation with our lodge he sat in with a host of magical groups and workshops in the Los Angeles area upon whom he later heaped scorn and ridicule because of their inability to show him real magic. I can't recall why, but I decided we were to try to contact Ladrom, the Mars Senior of the Elemental Tablet of Earth. In the spirit of better safe than sorry, we placed the Earth tablet in the south and enclosed the entire class in a circle cast with a clothesline cord. David a copy of the call to read. I sat down behind him while he read it aloud. He did rather well considering he had never read it before. When he was finished, he closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Nothing happened. I asked him to read the call again. He did so, and after only a few seconds he said, "I have a landscape. I see a landscape." I was relieved beyond words. What does it look like? David proceeded to describe in surprising detail a desert vista of flat, trackless white crystalline powder stretching to the horizon. Great gray columns of volcanic rock towering over the plain broke the monotony of the scene. He described a humanoid figure draped in the same material from which the cone was constructed. He had an egg-shaped head but no face. His hands were like mitts, there were no fingers. He reached his arm toward the ground and drew a diagram in the sand in front of him. David quickly copied the figure on the notepad. It was a square divided diagonally by two lines with a small circle in the lower left-hand corner. We took this to be Ladrom's signature. We were all very excited. It was as if the entire class saw David's vision in our mind's eye. Then it occurred to me. Now that we've got this guy, what the hell are we to do with him? Before I could think of what to do next, David said, "Lon, I feel I could make strange sounds." This was a twist. "Let yourself," I told him. "Go with it." I tried to sound calm. Everything was crystal clear right up to the time of Ladrom's appearance, when the tape developed an irritating distortion. We joked that it was the fault of malicious spirits and expected it to soon clear up. It did not. Starting at the beginning, We painstakingly played with the phonetics of each word and attempted to match them with words in the Enochian dictionary. Obviously we weren't being very scientific, nor, I confess, very objective. This was all very exciting and romantic, and I am sure that night we would have squeezed some profundity out of any string of sounds. Be that as it may, it took less than an hour to break the sounds up as follows: Nanta, Elohoth Zorjef, which translated neatly to Spirit of Earth, first worship of friendly visit. Zilzine, stretch forth hands, Sunadop, Nanta, stretch forth and conquer, Spirit of Earth, Thazi, visit in peace. Needless to say, we were all very impressed. At the end of the evening it was agreed that from now on class would meet 2 times a week to pursue Enochian magic. Sadly, David's ability to break spontaneously into the Enochian language would diminish rapidly as his familiarity with the language of the calls increased. Example 2. Monday Night Magic Class 29th Etherai. Scryer, Jilbalanga. Enochian scrying sessions sometimes trigger emotional, physical, even sexual reactions. This is a clip from the transcription of a recording of a Monday Night Magic class scrying of the 29th Etherai and its governors, Vastram, Odraxti, and Gomzium. The main scryer in this session was Jilbalanga, one of the class's most talented seers. It demonstrates that Enochian visions need not take the form of biblical-esque landscapes and heavy magical pronouncements. I thank Jill for being a very good sport and allowing us to eavesdrop on part of this provocative session. This session started with the full opening ritual as outlined in Lesson 1. As soon as I closed my eyes I was pulled into a vortex, an upside-down 6, and I was pulled in with another gentleman, a lover, a man, and we were instantly in sexual ecstasy, going in water in the form of 6, and just flying around. The flame was in the middle, and the water was swirling around, and I was lost in that ecstasy for a while. And then I thought, no, I've got to figure out what this message is about. And I looked down, and the floor was split into 4 parts, not like the watchtowers, more like pyramids, and one was fire, water, earth, and air. Then it was stuck back together again, and I was swirling with the vortex again. I said, fire creates, but water solidifies, and the 2 pyramids went back together. And I was with this lover again, floating around, and I was like, okay. Okay. I'm still kind of hot. Example 3. Public Workshop 30th Ether, Text. Scryer. Name withheld. The following is a letter I received a few days after I returned home from a workshop series on Enochian vision magic. The vision the young woman describes occurred during a scrying session that concluded a half-day public workshop. She, like most of the attendees at this event, had never performed Enochian magic before. After I had outlined a brief history of Dee and Kelly's adventures and the fundamentals of Enochian magic, the entire class took part in the ritual and chanting of the Ring Laymen Holy Table Sigilum Table of Knowledge opening ceremony. Over their 2-part chorus of the Table of Knowledge words, I recited the 19th call to penetrate the 30th ether, Tex. Here is her experience. Hi, Lon. Thanks again for making the trek here. Last weekend, I learned a lot more than I had expected to, which is why I'm writing you this. I didn't get a chance to talk to you about the things I did when you led the class foray into the Enochian ethers, and initially I was hesitant to because of the rather personal nature of some of it. But after talking to about it, I realized I should tell you. In fact, he insisted I do so. So here goes. We had just finished chanting the Holy Table, and you indicated we should close our eyes while you continued chanting and just follow the images that came to us. Initially it got not images per se, but random geometric shapes in dark shades of purple and green, mostly pyramids, and pyramids of one color in front of squares of a slightly darker shade. I realized that I was falling forward, swiftly, down a triangular corridor filled with a dark purplish haze, with occasional lighter purple flashes like falling through layers and layers and layers, whoosh, 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 with something spinning all around me at the same time. Then I realized I wasn't going down anymore, but rising, still through this triangular purple-infused corridor. Whoosh, 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 still the spinning, and I began to feel my heart pounding like it would burst inside me. I felt dizzy and slightly nauseous, and just when I thought I couldn't stand it for another moment longer, I stopped speeding forward, and the purple mist cleared, and I was standing on a grassy plain, almost a hilltop, that rose slightly upward in front of me. Beyond the border of the wall were two more hills in the distance, one to the left and one to the right, covered in vibrant dark green vegetation, and I knew vaguely that there were things in those hills, in those trees, but I didn't have time to think about them. There were 4 pillars that stretched up around me, at the outside edge of the wall, and as I watched, a pyramid rose up out of the hillside in front of me, or perhaps I simply moved swiftly up the hillside towards it. My impression was that he came from inside the pyramid, and he seemed to be coming from some distance, though the pyramid was just in front of me. He was tall and blond and blue-eyed and wore a garment of brilliant white and a golden circlet about his temples. And he was smiling. He was so glad to see me. As he came close to me, he opened up the robe to reveal a column of blinding white light running down the center line of his body. As my eyes adjusted to the light, I realized that the light was coming from his chakras, which were blazing yellow-white light and shaped sort of like flowers.